The spire had finally understood what was spreading inside it, and every light in the deep turned to crimson. One by one, the ancient gates were closing, and every path ahead was disappearing faster than they could run. The guardians of the deep had waited in silence for centuries. Tonight, the silence was over. There was no warning shot. The archive had already decided they were the enemy. I am a guardian of this spire, and it no longer recognizes me. Something else was moving through the spire's veins that night, and it was determined to keep them alive. The vaults were bleeding light. Centuries of memory were dissolving into darkness before their eyes. Run, or let 1,000 years of memory die. I was never given that choice. What authority could no longer hold, raw strength would have to carry. Surrounded, outnumbered, and out of options, they discovered they fought better as one. He didn't think. He didn't calculate. He simply refused to let the Guardian fall. Beneath their feet, a dead bridge came back to life, and neither of them asked why. No orders, no warnings. Their bodies had already learned what their voices never said. The Guardian froze the storm, and the outsider broke it apart. One vault, saved together. It was the first thing in the spire they could call theirs. Back home, I fought to survive. He fights to remember. Maybe that's worth protecting. But the spire was learning too, and now it was hunting them by name. In the spire's eyes, they simply ceased to exist, though neither knew who had blinded it. The lockdown was never madness, it was fear. The crimson roots had reached the spire's heart. Not every memory could be saved. Some had to be mourned at a run. Every vault that dies takes a piece of him with it. How much can one man carry? The chamber was sealing itself around them, and this time, no strength and no authority would open it. Then, a passage that had never existed opened exactly where they needed it. Twice tonight, the spire has saved us. The spire, or something living inside it? At the heart of the sector lay the spire's oldest memory, and the anomaly wanted it erased. Two hands on the dying core, two frequencies becoming one wall against the dark. Somewhere in the dark, something gave up a part of itself so they could live. As suddenly as it began, the lockdown withdrew, leaving only silence, dust, and survivors. They had entered the deep as strangers forced together. They stood now as something neither could name. But far below, where no light reached, the crimson kept growing. And now, it knew their names.